Hey everyone, Scott.Holmberg from Pacific Residential Mortgage.
Hey, and Stacey Sebastian with eXp Realty and of Sunny and Bend.
How is everyone doing? It's Monday and we're doing our little weekly update as far as what's going on in the real estate industry. Stacey, what cool new stats do you have for us this week?
Yeah, actually, thanks for reminding me. I have them right here. So, you and I just went over this before we started, and there is some question if the past, listings and stuff have been mapped properly in our new system. So just keep that in mind when we're going over the stats if they seem a little off to you. But this is what we have to work with. When we are running comps, we will verify where that property is located. So if it is mapped kind of funky, but for just general, here's new listings. This last week I come up with 78, and this time last year there was 138.
Okay.
Price changes this last week is at 42, and in 2019, 126. So,
A lot.
yeah, so there could be some mapping things going on there. I'm just not 100% sure. Pending, there's 84 this last week, and then in 2019, we had about 95. So those are kind of staying together.
Yeah, real
Sold
close.
this last week, we're looking at 37, and then I'm sorry, this last week 37, and then this time last year was 58. So still, pretty close. Back on the market, I included that just so people know what's coming on and off. It's like if somebody has a property tied up in another state and they have to close that property in order to purchase. Sometimes those fall out. It happens. I've had some very successful ones, but every once in a while. So back on the market, 18 this last week came back on the market. And this time last year, there was 22 that came back on the market. So,
So not much.
yeah. And currently right now, I pulled up all the listings that are on the market right now in Bend, and I'm comparing just single family. So this does not include townhomes, manufactured homes, and that's all these stats. So if I started adding condos and townhomes and land and all that, of course, these stats would change. But there's 529 properties on the market right now, and that's not price specific. So we do have some pretty decent inventory in Bend for single family homes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the market's still moving. I did just get an email through our system at the Flex MLS here in Central Oregon asking us our thoughts on what we think the market is doing. So they're really reaching out to us, trying to get a feel and a vibe. I do feel like, there is still some people a little nervous about listing. Obviously, the stats on listings have gone down. There are some pictures in some of the listings showing what a picture showing what a showing would look like. Here's our booties, and here's our gloves, and here's our hand sanitizer. Some sellers are asking us, please be present in every single showing so that you can guarantee that everybody's doing what they should be doing. So instead of just allowing another agent to go and show the property with their clients, they want to make sure that everybody's following protocol. So you are seeing
Good.
a lot of that happen, little checks and balances. Yeah, so it's still happening. As you know, Scott, phase one just happened.
It did. And
Yeah.
I did see some more activity in Bend this last weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how it kind of all phases in.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we're planning on going camping this weekend for Memorial Day. So we're going to try to get out of town and spend a little time in the woods. So it'll be interesting to see how busy the woods are too.
Yeah.
With now everybody, that phase one being open, but it was interesting because we still, Megan and I did some driving around yesterday. Saturday evening. We drove by through the old mill and things like that to see what shops had opened up, and there's still a bunch of shops that haven't opened up. I know a couple of restaurants that I know the owners of, and they're trying to figure out how to open up, because they've got about 25% of the space that they maybe used to have that they can use. And so you still got to remain some profitability to that. So that's the challenge that they're facing.
I think too, what I've noticed since phase one, beauticians and hair and all this,
Yep.
Different businesses that are opening up, they're coming up with these certificates of how they have to open up, like especially hairstylists. I don't know what that looks like yet. I'm actually getting my hair done tomorrow. And so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. Cause I'm getting a little dark up here. And then,
Yeah, because the hairstylist was like top priority for me too. I was really worried about, when and how they were going to open up. So
for sure. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. And just to kind of point out what's happening on both sides, because that I'm a pretty neutral person. I can see both sides to everything. But I have noticed a couple local businesses and people going towards those businesses. And, if you guys can have patience and understanding for these local businesses, it's hard to imagine, how would you open up? Would you require a mask? Would you not require a mask? How that's going to affect your business? We're all in this together, like everybody keeps saying, and, try not to be hard on our local businesses. They've been shut down for a while, and they have a right to decide how they're going to do that opening. And you guys do what you need to do for yourselves. And giving our local businesses a hard time. It's been hard to see some people do that. And I just wanted to bring that up. Just try to have an open mind, take care of yourself, do what you have to do, but don't be hard on our local businesses when they've decided a certain direction. So that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Support local.
because it's a challenge for them. So they've got to try to maneuver through a bunch of the information and try to decipher what information actually applies to them. Because I know a couple businesses have been trying to get information from the state, and that's not been real easy. So there's a lot of we'll call it gray area that everybody's got to try to figure out on their own, which is tough.
Yeah, like for the Airbnb letter that we got, because we have an Airbnb, and they said, hey guys, can you not open your doors and not bring in the outsiders? Do not house them, please. We're asking you. And we're like, okay, sure. And then you're seeing some larger resorts open their doors and you're conflicted. Like, what does that mean? So, you really have to decide for yourself what is best. And also just be careful, because there's no definitive rules. It seems like they're just asking us to please go along with things. And I think they're not always clear what to do, but it is conflicting out there. So do what's right for you. I did go to Camp Sherman this past weekend. I took Sunny down there and it was beautiful.
Nice.
I saw quite a few people there. I saw some cabins that were open. They said they've been pretty slow. They've been very cautious and cleaning and trying to be very careful. If you guys get a chance, cruise down to Camp Sherman just for a day trip, check it out. It's beautiful. The campgrounds were pretty empty when I was there. You could tell that there were some people coming and going, and it wasn't very busy. The hatchery was closed still, so we weren't able to get into the hatchery, but it's just nice to go down there. Sunny got in the water. We went on a little trail. There weren't very many people, so it was nice to get out again and get in the trees.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So one quick thing as far as the mortgage announcement, we are now able to go down to a 620 credit score on our FHA and VA, and whereas we were 680 and then we were able to go 660 and 640, now we're down to able to do 620. So seeing a little bit of that market open up, which tells us the liquidity is coming back slowly but surely. So those are always positive changes.
So if you're thinking about refinancing or doing a purchase, talk to Scott.Holmberg at Pacific Residential Mortgage. If you're thinking about selling or buying, reach out to me, Stacey Sebastian with eXp Realty. And this is your market update for the week. And we will see you guys next week. Got anything else, Scott? Are you good?
No, okay. We'll talk about what we did over Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks. See ya.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.